Today's homily will be divided into two parts. First, we shall see a video about the latest saint that our Holy Catholic Church has. Dear friends, looking at that boy, it's like any one of us. Nothing special about that boy of 14 years old, and he will be the latest saint added to our Holy Catholic Church. So what was his way of following Jesus Christ? As I have mentioned sometime previously, his parents were not Catholic. They were Catholics. They were not following the Catholic faith at all. They were not even going to church. At the age of 4, this boy seems to be having a tremendous sense, kind of a lure, so to say, when they pass any Catholic church. He has got an urge. He will urge his parents, we will go to the church. Parents thought he's not normal. Because where did he get this idea? There is somebody in the church, in a locked church, there is somebody sitting there and calling him. Then slowly, with God's grace, the parents understood this boy has got a real love for Jesus Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. So as he was growing up, he started to put together all the Eucharistic miracles that took place all over the world. In short, each time when he came to the church, he was in conversation with Jesus Christ. Let us begin from there. Every weekend, and maybe many times a day or week, we may come to the church. Do we really recognize somebody is sitting here, waiting for us just to come and say, "Hi Lord, I am busy, I have to go"? At least I do believe that's kind of a loving courtesy that you and I can show to the Blessed Sacrament. This particular Blessed Sacrament is not just a tradition of the Holy Catholic Church. It is the Church's fundamental teaching. Christ in the Blessed Sacrament, and that Lord is always present to each one of us. When we are going through isolation, when we are going through this anger and frustration, when we are going through anxious moments of our lives because of this coronavirus, the unrest in our country, now the election, as it is coming to the end, a lot of noise. We are trying to keep cool, kind of sense out of everything. So, each time when you and I am agitated, there is a beautiful place. Please come to the Blessed Sacrament. Please spend a few moments in the church. I do remember I mentioned a story 2 weeks ago that happened to me. As I already told you, I am sure, that was around on a Saturday at around 11:36. I went to bed. Before that, I get a call from a particular person. First, I ignored the call, waited for somebody puts a message there. Then the message comes. "Father, I want to enter the church. I want to pray. Please open the church." Please remember, just a few minutes into midnight, I said, "No, I won't be able to come." Then I waited. Second call comes from another person telling the same thing. "My wife is so agitated, so much, she's going through some kind of situation. So, Father, we need you." I rushed to the church. It is a risk that I should have never gone. When I was speaking with some of our priests, they said, "No, you took a wrong decision." Whatever. I went there. Then I see somebody sitting there. That particular person wanted to enter the church. Her brother was dying at that particular time, somewhere in one of the southern states of our country. So that means, let us leave at that particular situation at there. That particular person felt an urge. There is somebody in the Blessed Sacrament. I have to pour out my pain. This is what the saints did, dear friends. They were ordinary looking, like any one of us. This boy, like any other our teenagers seated here, just enjoying his life, being part of the joy and the happiness in the classroom, wherever he went. And when he was starting to codify all the Eucharistic ministers, Eucharistic miracles that happened all over the world, he went to many countries with a short time and then had a beautiful video made. Pope Francis was so much impressed and he called him Cyber Saint. Cyber Saint. So that means every situation, even in the 21st century, in this chaotic situation, we can be who we are, saints for Jesus Christ. You and I know we don't need extra any rules and regulations. One thing what we need is the Holy Bible that contains a call to holiness. That's what we heard from the first reading taken from the book of Revelation. As you know, book of Revelation, please, so difficult a book to read, but Actually, it can be summarized in such simple words in two characteristics. First, the church was going through fierce persecution when John was living. A lot of Christians are being murdered, both by Jewish people and also by Roman people. Both ways they had a tough time. Church was being persecuted. So St. John saw the persecutor, the Roman emperor, as a beast with all kind of horns, with all kind of characteristics that are mentioned in the book of Revelation. And then he tells us what we heard today. That particular beast, so powerful, looked so powerful, so energetic, so embracing, still that humble lamb was able to slew or kill that beast and bring order in heaven and on earth. And then who are those people? You and me, the saved people, the redeemed people, that all of us belong to. That number 144,000 is only a number, meaning infinite number. Please do remember, in the Bible, numbers are mentioned, it has got clear meaning. But in this particular context, it cannot be counted. The second verse of where it was written, 144,000, just afterwards, great multitude. That's what? You, me included. So that means the Holy Bible becomes the rule and the law to live our Catholic life. So Vincent Pallotti, our own, the congregation of Pallottine fathers and brothers, the founder was Saint Vincent Pallotti. When he approached the Pope of that time, told him, I want to make a pious society, and my aim is to preach or recruit young men and women so that they can go and preach the gospel everywhere. The Pope said, you need to have a constitution for your members. You need to have a bylaw. Vincent Pallotti told him, I have only one rule to give them, the Holy Bible. I will hand over the Holy Bible to the followers of Pallottine fathers and brothers and sisters. But Pope said, that's fine. Everything is based on the Holy Bible, but still you need to write down in a systematic way a constitution for your society, for your members. That is a different story. But what I am trying to say, Vincent Pallotti told us, this is the Holy Bible is the constitution for every Christian to be a wonderful disciple of Jesus Christ. Not only that, a saint of Jesus Christ. That is the call, every one of us. I don't want to use all the names of all the, at least many of the saints. There are so-called major saints like Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Francis de Sales, Teresa of Avila, Teresa of Little Therese, and there are many very known saints. There are lesser known saints. During this month, I have chosen for our reflection for the holy beginning of the Holy Mass, lesser known saints. For example, the person whom we heard, Martin de Porres. Who was he? He was actually a son of a Portuguese mother and native Indian American father. He himself, because of all that situation, he wanted to become a Dominican priest. He couldn't. So he chose to be at their seminary, being the infirmarian. Anybody is sick, when that person is admitted in that infirmary, he went to treat them. He took care of their garden. He took care of many other simple tasks. And we know what he became. He became a saint. There are people like Francis of Assisi, born into a very rich family. His dad was a merchant in all kind of fabrics, all kind of cloth trade. They were very rich. And even he had all kind of paraphernalia kind of a dress to wear, and we walked around in that. One particular moment, that confrontation with that leper changed him. It was a total change. And then we know what he became. He just entered the church as a naked person. That was the beginning of his saintlyhood. And of course, Francis of Assisi is not only a saint for the Holy Catholic Church, he is considered to be a saint by everyone. In our own time, Mother Teresa, as I told you, I had the privilege to meet her twice. First time when I met her, for me, I have met hundreds of nuns in India of all kind of different congregations. When first time I met her, I considered her like any other sister whom we confront on a day-to-day basis. I was a seminarian, and we used to meet sisters of many congregations. So when I met Mother Teresa for the first time, I thought, yeah, like any other person, her way of talking, her way of speaking. After 4 years, again, I had the privilege to meet her again in Nagpur. Entirely different person. By the time she is known all over the world, she has already, her congregation is becoming so famous all over the country, all over the world. And then I do remember our conversation with her. He, the person, the other brother or the other seminarian with me, he became a bishop of Indore, and he died recently, was also a Palatine. She told us in our conversation, told us one thing which I have now forgotten. Fathers, we were brothers that time. We seminarians were called brothers. Brothers, when you become priest, be holy priest. We will take care of the social work. You don't worry about it. Be holy. Make others holy. That was her word. So, as I mentioned, first time when I met Mother Teresa, like any other person, dear friends, nothing special. So, every one of us here, when I met Pope Saint Paul II, when I was going after my studies back to India, I went via Rome. I had the privilege. He was in Castel Gandolfo, his summer vacation place. Again, when I met him, of course, he's the Pope. Only 24 priests were there, so we were so lucky. And after the Holy Mass, all of us were asked to stand in a circle. He came to each one of us, bringing us a rosary. Again, strictly speaking, except he is the Holy Father, the Pope, other than that, it was like any ordinary bishops, already ordinary cardinals whom we meet. So, dear friends, these are ordinary people like you and me. But what makes us different is love. Love for God. Once that is in our hearts and in our lives, that changes. That gives us strength and courage. The other day, there was a call. I was asked, Father, somebody needs to be anointed. One of our own parishioners. The first question these days we ask that, is that person, coronavirus or whatever? I went to that particular place, of course, I have to wear all kind of dress, and then we have strict orders these days. If it is a coronavirus case, please don't go directly anointing. But you know, there are situations, you have a tremendous strength. You are told, you are there. God will take care of you. It is not being naive. God gives